Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, December 11. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has instructed Cabinet to establish codes of conduct for government ministers with immediate effect. This will see ministers meeting twice per year with the boards under their jurisdiction to review policies. Ministers must also hold quarterly meetings with board chairmen, review minutes and activities of the board, and make plans for the upcoming quarter. The instructions were issued on Monday during a press briefing called by Prime Minister Holness at his office.
The quarterly meeting is more to enshrine the process of interrogation, of administration. And the biennial meeting is to ensure that the boards are focused on policy. So this is a mechanism for evaluation.
The Prime Minister says while the mandates are not the standard procedure for ministers, moving forward they must function in this regard.
It is going to mean more work, but we have to become smarter in how we do our work, employ technology, restructure business process, re-engineering of our business processes to ensure that we maximize our time.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says there are no immediate plans to divest the government-owned oil refinery, Petrojam. He says a report being put together by the Petrojam Review Commission will provide the administration with recommendations on the best approach for managing the entity.
The policy of the government is to have full utilization of national assets. So if Petrojam is not fully utilized in government ownership, then the policy of the government is that it should be put in a position that that be done. The policy of the government is one of wealth creation. So as far as possible that we have these assets, we should seek to have the ownership shared with the public. Not just private sector entity, but we should seek to have our stock market expanded, to have democratic ownership, if you want to put it that way.
Prime Minister Holness says due diligence will be given to the process if and when a ruling to divest the entity is made. However, he cautions that the ongoing process of purchasing Venezuela's shares in Petrojam also affects any decision to divest the entity. And giving an update on the Venezuela agreement, Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says negotiations have been moving at a slow pace.
Since there has been some stability in the discussion since the formal offer has been made, there has still been a great deal of, let us say, there's not been alacrity. There is no deep desire on behalf of Venezuela or on PDVSA to sell. And this has made it quite challenging for the negotiation to proceed in a way that meets Jamaica's needs.
Minister Johnson-Smith says while the government has been making progress in the negotiation, geopolitical changes that are outside Jamaica's control can influence the process negatively. She emphasizes that an amicable agreement may not be feasible and government may have to explore other opportunities to protect the country's energy security.
We will update in due course. The discussions do continue, correspondence continues. I continue to meet with not only the members of management of Petrojam, the review commission of the board, the review commission, as well as to be in touch with the board through the chairman to ensure that there are no matters, no shifting plate tectonics which may affect the negotiations.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he will continue ministerial oversight of the energy portfolio to protect agreements and negotiations being undertaken by that office. These include energy agreements signed with Mexico, Spain and the United States since the start of the year.
Because of the delicate nature of the negotiations now, it really needs that kind of direction to keep it on track.
The amended Road Traffic Act has been passed in the Senate. The bill, which was piloted by Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Kamina Johnson-Smith, received approval last Friday. In arguing for the legislation, Senator Johnson-Smith said too many lives had been lost due to bad road practices.
These bad practices have been continued because of the failure of the legislative framework to provide for an enforcement mechanism to make undisciplined road users accountable for their actions. At some point, we have to take hold of this culture of indiscipline in Jamaica.
The new law will introduce heavier fines and penalties for breaching the road code, such as driving without a license, permit, or required insurance coverage. Stronger fines are also introduced for exceeding speed limits, loud noises, and failure to wear protective helmet, as well as failure to comply with traffic signs or to stop at pedestrian crossings. Having now been passed by both Houses of Parliament, the long-awaited legislation will next go to the Governor-General to be signed into law. Early childhood practitioners will no longer be required to pay for certain government documents. The news was revealed by Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator Ruel Reid, at Wednesday's post-Cabinet press briefing.
Cabinet has granted approval for all practitioners at the early child level, registered with the Early Child Commission and working with early child institutions to be exempt from paying for police records, medical records, and food handlers permit.
He says the Ministries of Education, Health and National Security will absorb the relevant fees in their budgets.
The Early Child Commission will monitor and verify only those approved practitioners to be exempted from payment. They will still be required, however, to get annual renewals to be fully compliant with the requisite legislation and to operate within the Commission's operational standards.
And finally, 4 days of celebration to honor the Reggae Girls' historic qualification to the FIFA Women's World Cup finals has been announced. It includes motorcades across sections of the island on December 15, a Thanksgiving concert at Emancipation Park on December 16, a special reception to be hosted by the Prime Minister on December 17, and a fun day for the girls on December 18. The celebration is being organized by the Ministry of Sport.
I want them to feel very special, and so we're going to be doing a lot of things to have them have a fantastic time.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.